the things we do, like we're gonna need to keep a collection as proof.
I would quickly run out of room in my house.
Yeah, well.
Thanks, sir.
But, this is better than being out in bars. I mean, this thing costs as much as one shot, and we got about, 5 or 6 out of this fucker?
Yeah, and that's the second bottle, so...
And this is it, so...
I would say we're in good shape here.
Yeah.
Welcome into this week's episode of The Fundamentalists, everybody. My name is Duel, and this is my homie Dan.
What's
just
up, guys?
like fucking always. On this episode of The Fundamentalists, we're going to be talking about when our favorite bands, or really even good bands, disappoint us.
The bands that have been with us for a long time.
Put out bad records, bad songs, or really just go through bad fucking phases. Any band comes to mind, most notably Metallica, who've been in a bad phase for seemingly 20 years now. But everyone has their own opinion on that, and we're going to be delving into that on this episode of The Fundamentalists. But beforehand, before we get into all of that, let's do our every episodic ritual and taking the shot for a bot who sadly...
Fallen in battle.
Yes.
On the fields of Blaskra.
Fucking off his perch, shattered as a fucking bobblehead. He served us fucking well.
He will be avenged.
The final shot for a bot, everybody. If there's a new tradition, however, you'd like us to undertake that involves drinking, I don't want you guys to get all fucking crazy because I know how you like to do that there on the internet.
Watch out, you fucking vegans. I got my eye on you.
Send us a line.
Skull.
Prost. Yes. Anyway.
Take 3. Anyways.
With good bands. Bad.
So this all started because of my dirty little secret in the world of metal. Slipknot is what got me into metal, okay? Now, this confuses the ever-loving hell out of my older peers who have arguably much better taste. However, we all had to start somewhere, and in a land known as Alabama with very few cultural expanding experiences, I started with Slipknot. Now, my 2 favorite albums out of the Slipknot catalog would be their self-titled and Iowa. They released a new track a week ago or 2 weeks ago called All Out Life. Makes no sense to me. It sounds dumb.
Much like your fandom of the band.
Oh, okay, Tribune Boy. Anyways, so I don't like this track. I don't think Slipknot fans should like this track. I don't think current Slipknot fans should like this track. But current Slipknot fans won't know why they shouldn't like this track. Why should you not like this track? Because it's painting by numbers. It's like they said, okay, the vocals will copy the album All Hope Is Gone, and the guitars will copy Volume 3, and the DJ sound effect stuff will sound like the Gray Chapter. So they painted by numbers. They did not create like a new facet of sound or anything for Slipknot, and they excluded their 2 best albums, 2, not 3, 2 best albums out of their entire catalog. Which I get from a marketing standpoint. Their audience base is a lot younger. Many people my age have learned the error of their ways and moved on to better things. I personally haven't listened to Slipknot in a long time, but they put out a new record. It's like when you find out like a new girlfriend. When you find out like an old girlfriend is newly single, you're kind of like, what's up?
We're on the same page because I was about to make a fucking girlfriend joke to him, and he fucking went there by himself. It's like he already knew it was coming. He saw me sharpening the knife,
dude,
behind the scenes,
just
waiting to fucking stick it in, and he fucking cut me off. So he wins on that exchange. I can't go there now. He already went there. Son of a bitch. Anyway, so that's why you hate the new Slipknot song, because you feel like
because it's Slip Rock and not Slipknot. Yeah, basically, it's not fresh. They didn't try for anything new. I get it, guys. You have fucking mansions and islands and yachts to pay for now. I don't fault you for that. I'm just a little disappointed that you didn't try a little harder. And, my only hope is that All hope is gone, actually.
While we're making bad jokes, you were saying yachts and things, other things to pay for. I was
my
gonna
God.
make a really tasteful not Sid Wilson, Paul Gray joke, but I refrained.
Don't do that. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, I get it. You're an established band.
You've made the joke in your head, you know it.
You've got assets to pay for and shit like that. They're trying to make Not Fest from a 2-day
Not Metal Fest?
No. Not Fest. I get it. You're making a joke. I'm not going to indulge you. Anyways, they're trying to make Not Fest. You know, it's a 2-day festival in San Bernardino, California every year for the past couple of years.
Which they're
trying to
discussing
make
making
it
a
tour.
a traveling tour.
They're trying to make it a traveling tour like Ozfest, which is what got them in the game. So, I mean, that actually is pretty cool to me.
Speaking of Ozzy, he's actually going on a final tour with Megadeth opening, and that's 10 times fucking cooler than any fucking
Slipknot track. Yeah.
Not Fest. Hey,
Not
I was
Fest.
making a Fest joke. Anyway, that's enough about Slipknot.
That's actually the name of the fest. It's Not Fest.
I know.
Okay.
It's a pun and a joke all
I
in one.
hate puns. I'm a theater major, but I hate puns.
So that's why Dan hates All Out Life, the new Slipknot single.
Yeah.
Granted, it's only one track, and I guarantee you he will find a way to do enough mental gymnastics in his head that when that record drops, it'll be the greatest thing since fucking sliced fucking bread.
Well, I mean, you know, I've stayed with...
Corey Taylor does no wrong to this man. It's like a father figure.
like an older brother I wish I had. If I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, you know, fuck, I've been married. I've done gymnastics before. Let's do this. Anyways.
Speaking of doing this, my bands that I think have put out fucking awful records, even though I fucking love them and I think they're really good bands. Trivium, all jokes aside, have put out one bad record. Just one. To
Just
me.
one?
The
Just
Black
one.
Dahlia Motors never put out a bad record, but Abysmal and to a lesser extent Everblack didn't get me nearly as hype as their previous records
Didn't
did.
get hot and bothered like the rest of them did?
Nope, not at all. Cannibal Corpse, A Skeletal Domain. Cannibal Corpse is Cannibal Corpse, and while Dan was talking about bands that fucking retread old territory, Cannibal Corpse is a perfect example that you don't need to reinvent the fucking wheel every single time you put out a new record. Cannibal Corpse is Cannibal Corpse. We know what we're gonna get. We're gonna get fucking old school, groovy ass Florida death metal, and Cannibal Corpse still somehow puts a different personality on every single record, and that's been enough. That's a sign of a great band, a band that knows exactly what it's doing.
This is a sign of true alcoholic. I'm trying to get the last couple drops out of this fucking bottle.
Yeah. Well, so I can't really blame him. I'm just gonna go ahead and say cheers to that one on that one, homie. Let's look at Testament on the exact opposite end of the spectrum.
No, let's look
they
at
always
fucking Judas Priest with firepower. God damn, dude.
Speaking of firepower, that's gonna be what my son is about to respond with, because this fucking drunk asshole screaming so loud he's gonna wake my little boy up. Bastard. It's gonna interrupt the recording of this episode. But he's right.
I love your son. Yeah,
But
we'll
I
put
love
him on the show.
I love my son too.
We'll get rid of the alcohol, and we'll be good. We'll be good parent and friend of parent.
I don't know. I think alcohol is probably more useful to the show than my son's presence is.
Okay, we'll tell the babysitter to stay with.
We'll tell him later.
Yeah.
So Firepower from Judas Priest is a great example, just like any of the New Testament albums are great examples of when bands can still put out great records 20, 30 years after their heyday or even after they started. Megadeth still puts out great records, but they also put out some shit ones too. It almost makes you wonder what causes the bad record, what causes the misstep. Is it trying to step away too much from what you do best? Maybe you do one thing really well, i.e. thrash
running what
metal.
you do well into the ground?
Well, for some bands, maybe it is running it into the ground. But
I feel like
Cannibal Corpse, as I mentioned earlier, not to run them and as an example into the ground, but they're the prime example of how you can essentially do the same thing over and over and still have it be fresh.
I hate to do this because I'm gonna throw another of my early beloved bands under the bus on this one, but I feel like Cradle of Filth is another example. They have their sound, right? But I mean, fuck, dude, they've been in the game for 20, 25 years now. There's only so many times that fucking dark Disney world is gonna work, you know.
Whoa.
So, I mean, I feel like most people would agree after Nymphenemy, and everybody's like, I'm out, you know.
Well, that black and gutter punk sound that fucking Goatwhore is fucking famous for doesn't seem to be fucking running out of gas.
Really, gutter
soon.
punk? That's harsh, bro.
I mean, I love Goatwhore, don't get me wrong.
I love him too, but I don't know, man.
But I mean, Sammy's got a very punky, direct 3/4 chord. This is what you get type of riffing style. And if you think about it, they're going.
I guess if Ben had a different tone of voice, it would be a fucking punk cadence. So that's pretty cool to think about. I had never noticed that actually.
Absolutely,
That's crazy.
They've got black metal, punk, thrash. Goatwhore is actually. I mean,
granted, we love this fucking man. We sing it like 20 fucking times.
It's not an exaggeration. An exaggeration.
I've gotten voicemails from this guy puking his fucking brains out, like when he got lost at a show. He's got embarrassing shit on me. From different fucking Goatwhore shows. Like our friends have fucked outside of Goatwhore shows. Like
on New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we have plenty of Goatwhore stories. We've seen Goatwhore fuck a lot of times. But they're a good example too. Even though maybe their shtick is running thin. Maybe they can't run on it forever, but they're another good example of how you know what you're going to get, but every album still has enough personality to stand on its own.
It's a really hard fucking term, though. I mean,
it does come off snide and kind of snarky, and it's not really meant to be. Because let's be honest, bands don't have to fucking change genre every fucking record. Dissection doesn't have to put out a pop punk album because they put out
shit out anymore.
Well, yeah, because John's dead. But I mean, Cannibal Corpse doesn't have to try out black metal because they've done death metal into the fucking ground. That's not why you listen to Cannibal Corpse, and there's something to be said for that. Albums aren't movies from directors where you feel like they need to be all completely different. Like Quentin Tarantino tries, all of his movies are fairly different, but they're all still Quentin Tarantino movies. There is that fucking common thread that binds them together. Or Wes Anderson is another great example. Completely different movies, but his personality shines through in all of them. And even if it's different in every movie, you still know who it came from or where it came from. Yeah, and that's the line bands seemingly have to straddle. Some bands straddle that line really, really well, and others don't. And I feel like the reason so many bands that are good put out shit records every now and then is because they feel, falsely, in my opinion, that the only way they're going to stay successful is if they try to change the formula up.
I also feel like...
But that's because they're playing the same songs every night for 2 years on tour, and so they get tired of songs.
At the same time, people's tastes change, We're all listening to stuff way different than we did 10 years ago.
I mean, that's very true.
It's the nature of the beast.
That's very true, but even things that I was listening to 10 years ago, if you put it on now, I would still listen to it. Even the cringy shit. Like...
I feel like music holds up a lot better. Music from your past holds up a lot better than, like, say, movies from your past.
I don't know. Nostalgia is a powerful thing, no matter in which form you digest it.
Yeah.
Because old school Godzilla movies for me, I mean, they're awful objectively as far as like production quality. I mean, they're Japanese B movies, and Japanese movies already didn't have the budget that Hollywood movies had. So I mean, their B movies are like real, like fucking man in a rubber suit bad. I still fucking love them, and I love them just as much today, maybe even more than I did when I was a kid.
The dirty little secrets, like
yeah, but that's fine. I mean, that doesn't have to affect your enjoyment of the overall product. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well,
tell us if you disagree. I mean, tell us one, first of all, your bands that you feel that you either loved or think are good bands that had a misstep, and tell us what it was and why you think that it was. Also, on the next episode of The Fundamentalists, we're going to be discussing our 2018 albums of the year. So go ahead and start sending those in to us too, and your best ones, or at least the ones that we think are funny, we'll feature on the next episode.
Send us like your top 2, okay? And I mean that may very well influence, because I mean
none of you are going to influence me. This is all.
This fucking cunt. Anyways. Fucking trying to get the people involved, trying to keep them involved, trying to get dialogue going.
No, we should definitely involve them.
This fucking cunt's like, oh, I don't need your fucking bands.
No,
Wavy dismissal hand returns.
I'll definitely read your list, but it's just not going to affect mine. Is all I'm saying.
Anyways, or fucking argue with us.
Yeah, definitely argue with me. That's way more fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
If you want to argue with us about anything on this episode, or if you want to go ahead and argue a point in the future, send it to us at the facebook.com/thefundamentalist. You can also like our page at Instagram at Instagram/thefundamentalist. Also, you can send us an email, give us your feedback, thefundamentalist@gmail.com. Also, if you are in a band, or if you or any of your friends are in a band and you'd like them featured on the show, send it to us at thefundamentalist@gmail.com.
He does something stupid. He's fucking drunk as hell.
Please, if you're going to send me a Bandcamp link, which is just fine. I love Bandcamp.
We're not buying your shit.
Don't send me a fucking link to buy your album. Say, hey, feature this, bro.
Nope.
I'm sure your album's great. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But if you're saying completely off the blue, hey, this is my band, you should feature them, and I click on your link, and it's like, you must pay $5.99 to listen to this fucking record, I'm not even going to fuck with you anymore. So come on. Have some fucking standards here. Anyway.
And I understand that, like, this shit costs us money. Why do you think we don't do this every week?
I don't know. It's like $30 in liquor alone. And this is our third take. Our third take, and it's still this shit. Can you believe it?
But this is the take you're going to get. So enjoy. I hope. Maybe. I don't know.
Let's hope so. This has been The Fundamentalist. Cheers to you all, homies.
Skull.